All right, guys, back on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr previewing the NCAA Tournament second round matchup between number 4 seed Texas A&M, number 5 seed Michigan. That game 4:15 p.m. Central Time, CBS on Saturday. In again the South region, Max A&M opening up as a little bit of a favorite in this one, it seems.
Yep, just about a basket. 2.5 point favorite. Right now on VSiN, A&M has 57% of the bets, but 77% of the handle. So a good amount of money sticking with the Aggie side right now. But man, oh man, this is going to be a battle. You want to talk about a nice matchup. First off, though, two teams that everyone wrote off when the bracket reveal comes out and they
Mm-hmm.
reveal the first region. Oh, San Diego against Michigan. Michigan turns it over too much, and San Diego's going to turn it over. They're done. Oh, it's Yale. Yale's going to beat the SEC team again. Oh, and then look, Michigan and A&M meeting up in round two. And man, oh man, the committee, thank you for giving us this matchup because we have the number one offensive rebounding team in the country going against probably the most dynamic front court we've seen in some time with Vlad Golden. And speaking of Yale, ex SEC killer, Mr. Daniel Wolf. So, wow. Give me this front court matchup 10 times out of 10, twice on Sunday, whatever it is. Give me this matchup all day long, Blake. I love it.
Well, and to add to it, we always talk about our friend Evan Mia and what a great job he does with the advanced sort of analytics and statistical trends. And we were laughing before we started recording because these two teams are both in the top 5 in his kill shot category, which are the strong teams that have a good differential between 10-0 runs for their team and against their team, right? And again, without knowing whether that happened in the games in the first round, I don't remember if there was a 10-0 run on either side. There may have been, but heading into the tournament, Texas A&M had 27 10-0 runs, I think, this season, and only given up 9 of those all year. Michigan had 28 and only given up 10. So it's like these two teams, if they get going, they've proven that it's kind of hard to stop them from getting on those runs because they're not going to allow you to have those kind of runs. And so you would think that means in a game like this, Max, there's the potential where it's like, oh, A&M's up 10-0. Michigan just tied it at 10. Now it's 20. It's just like, but my guess is it's going to be a little more of that. This feels like a game where you'd be maybe surprised if anyone has like more than a, I don't know, 7-point lead or something like that,
Yep.
right? Like it just feels like one of those games where, like you said, the way it sets up, we've talked about A&M all year long. Their offensive profile is just, it's fascinating because you can't figure out how they are able to maybe get it done sometimes because of the percentages. And we always talk about it. If you're a Michigan fan, we'll say the same thing we always talk about with A&M. 309th nationally in effective field goal percentage, 245th in turnover percentage, 325th in 3-point percentage, 275 in 2-point percentage, 283 in free throw percentage. Those are their offensive numbers for a team that is still ranked 45th in offensive efficiency. It's because, as we said, their ability to get offensive rebounds, the best in the country, that 41.7%. I mean, you're not that far off from basically just getting an extra opportunity on every other possession. And it's just like that is what they do. And I think, Max, this is one where we always say it, especially when you're in these SEC teams and you get in these kind of rounds, how these games are officiated and whether you can get to the
Yes.
free throw line is going to be crucial, and maybe none more so than this game right here for Texas A&M.
Yeah, and both teams have some depth. Maybe A&M a little bit more with maybe just one more body in that front court because Michigan does the 3 with Wolf, Golden, and Shetter, and then A&M does the 4 with Payne, Coleman, Garcia, and Solo Washington. So they just have one more body to throw there, which, hey, in a game like this could be the difference. But yeah, because when you're looking at how is A&M going to score, that's the only thing you can rely on with A&M. However, you can also rely on them rebounding the ball. But against this Michigan team, SEC fans, if you think A&M is just going to go in there and bully Michigan on the boards, no. Michigan just out rebounded Maryland with Reese and Queen 47-18. 47-18, they out rebounded Maryland. They murdered them on the boards. This is a Michigan team that's going to have some height in the front court that really only, like, man, Florida, maybe Auburn with Cardwell and Broom kind of emulate with the double center. Nobody plays double 7-footer like Michigan does, let alone have them be as talented as they are. And what happens when A&M can't out rebound their opponent? And it just turns into, I don't know if it's called basketball, but it turns into something that is just a mess.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. Like you said, I think when they're not able to sort of and I was kind of laughing, but like I think it was Dana Jacobson after Michigan pulls off the win at the end there against San Diego. She asked him, last question I think she had for him, on the broadcast was like thoughts against Texas A&M. It's like maybe like a football game or whatever, some kind of phrasing like that. And she's like initial thoughts. He's like, we got to rebound the ball, and that was it. Like that was his. It's all he said. He's just like, we got to rebound the ball because I mean, again, he knows like that's sort of your matchup there when it comes to how it's going to play out. And I think that's it, right? Like this comes down to we say sometimes like this game can be won anywhere on the floor. This game's won in the paint either way. Like whoever can win that matchup, like that's how this thing is gonna play out. And so, I mean, this it is one, Max. Where I'm just like I'm looking at all the different places you could point out to talk about how this game goes, but I'm like, it's pretty simple. I mean, I think if you're A&M, you have to rebound the ball. But also, I think there is that advantage for A&M to be able to force turnovers here. And if they can do that, then I think you get that easier offense. I mean, again, if there's a team that can use that, it is A&M being able to force turnovers. I mean, Michigan's turnover rate, as we said, 20% basically. That's not great. And so there is opportunity here for A&M. I just think it's, like we said, what happens if Michigan is able to kind of balance some of that rebounding to where you don't have that usual edge that A&M seemingly always has against everyone. That's where things get a little iffy for the Aggies.
Yeah, we're about 8 minutes into this now, and I've just kind of listed off every reason why I love Michigan here. One thing why A&M, well, one area that A&M kind of could dominate here, in which they have all year, why they have a top 10 defense in the nation right now, 8 on KenPom. We've seen it up there as far as 5th at some points this year. They're number one, like if you're going in the opposite direction, not one, you're talking like 364. They are 361st in the nation in points allowed, percentage of opponent points coming from twos. Only 40%. There's only 3 teams allowing a lower portion of opponent points coming from 2-point range. They don't let you score from 2. You're not getting anything from 2. They're dead last in the SEC, one of the top teams in the nation. It's the way that they play defense with Zurich Phelps at the top, active hands. They let nothing inside, and then it's just a spider's web jungle inside. There's like 8 arms clawing at you, kind of like Houston does inside. Against Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, a little bit bigger. Who knows? Maybe that number drops a little bit, and Michigan's able to still make some tough buckets inside. However, the point I'm trying to make here is Michigan is a very efficient interior scoring team, one of the best in the country, and that's quite literally like what A&M's defense and foundation is built on, is not letting teams be efficient around the rim. It's going to be a great chess match. Dusty May drawing stuff up against this just nasty buzz defense he has this year. That's going to be great.
All right, picks.
On my bracket, I have A&M. I will say that, and I did pick Michigan, even though I loved San Diego this year. And I'm gonna pick A&M here. I'm gonna pick A&M, but I'm not gonna be laying any sort of wager on this. I think we're in a month of March where you got to throw some stuff out sometimes and stop analyzing the matchup through and through and just realize this is a Michigan team that just won the Big Ten, playing the most confident basketball they played all year. Trey Donaldson looks great. Trey Donaldson getting the whole SEC lick in here. Namari Burnett getting an whole SEC lick in here. Danny Wolf loves playing the SEC. This is a Michigan team that's hot at the right time with a great coach that's been to the Final Four recently. I'm going to go A&M here because of the interior defense numbers that I just brought up. But man, do not overlook this Michigan team. They're hot, Blake.
Now, Michigan absolutely has, I think, the profile of a team that can make the. I mean, look, if it's Auburn, Creighton, whoever it is, I mean, I think Michigan can get to not just the Elite
Yep.
Eight, but the Final Four. We've seen Dusty May do this before. Like, it's not like we should be all that shocked about it. Um, I came into this thinking I was pretty much talking myself into Michigan, but I think I'm going to pick A&M too because I think the
Sure.
physicality of A&M winds up being the difference here. They just, no matter what else happens, I don't necessarily remember many games this year where I said, "Man, A&M just got out physicaled," and I think that to me may wind up being the difference here when it comes to just the matchup that we're going to see, especially like we said that where you would expect this game to be decided in the paint. I do think Michigan has been a little susceptible to allowing the offensive rebounds. I think A&M can take advantage of that, and I do expect this to be a grind of a game. Um, even though these are not teams that are going to just walk it up the court and hold the ball for 25 seconds or anything, but I think you're going to see again that physicality went out. I think there will be some free throws shot in this game, and that worries me a little bit for A&M. Not gonna lie to you because they don't shoot it well from there. Where they missed 9 the
Yeah.
other night, I think against Yale, whatever it was. So that does concern me a little bit, but I think the offensive rebounding that they've mastered this at this point, and so I'm gonna pick the Aggies. Not confident in this one because we've said, and I probably said it more than you have. Like it's hard for me to trust this team because of the percentages on offense, but I also am like they may look like they're a team that has the profile of somebody who's won 12 games, but they've won
Yep.
23, and they've played pretty well for the most part here over the past couple weeks. So yeah, I don't love it, but I'm gonna pick A and
I'm
M.
telling you,
So
I know we have a lot of bettors that watch stuff because I get some DMs and stuff on Twitter, but I'm telling you, stay away
stay
from this
away.
one. Just enjoy the physicality of this thing. Just enjoy it, but stay away.
Yeah. Um. I think A and M's defense and rebounding are two constants, but I think everything else with A&M is not, and that's why I would want no part of it. But
Yeah.
if you want part of some fun in March, bracket bids, check them out. Again, hope you're enjoying the free pick'em contest. You've got that auction draft league going over there, but check out everything they're doing over at Bracket Bids. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Again, download that app, Bracket Bids, on the App Store, and also visit bracketbids.com. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll have previews of every second round game involving SEC teams in the NCAA tournament. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. Turn on your notifications so you know when we go live to react to all these games. And again, we appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you soon at Southeastern 16.